everybody, and welcome back to Sports Talk with Chris Heidel. I'm Chris Heidel with Steve Zulich and Adam Mize, and George Bachero was supposed to be here this evening, but he is on assignment again, because we had to put him on assignment. So he will be back next week, hopefully, with his what's going on with him. So Adam, it was a nice Super Bowl on Sunday. And I hope you guys enjoyed the halftime performance.
I did. It brought back a lot of memories for me. Seeing Dr. Dre, Mary J. Blige, Snoop Dogg, Eminem.
Exactly.
Kendrick Lamar. It had a SoCal vibe to it, and I can say it's one of the best Super Bowl halftime shows I've seen in a long, long time.
It was a very good Super Bowl, and after the years of this year was good. It was a good postseason as well.
It
was very good, except for somehow we still see Prescott trying to get that first down.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Prescott, who tried to get the first down for the Cowboys. I don't know what he was doing in that game.
Yeah. Here's my thing. When are you going to try and run a 40-yard quarterback draw when you got 16 seconds left in the game, no timeouts? You really think your quarterback's going to run 40 yards? No.
It's ridiculous, So he, I guess, if you were Jerry Jones, you just probably will just tell him like, "Oh well, we win the all-season award every year."
Yeah.
That's what they do. So today on the program, we have some great stuff, folks. We have some college baseball coming up. We got Randy Hood, the baseball coach at North Carolina Wilmington, will be joining us at 7:45. Then at 8 o'clock, Mike Cole from Manhattan College in Manhattan, New York, the Jaspers. They'll be playing down in Florida this weekend as well at the Stetson Classic. And then my good friend NIKKI Murphy, who is a lacrosse coach at Harford Community College, the women's lacrosse coach, she'll be on. They will be back playing this year after a year off because of COVID. And then 8:20, we got Frank Catalanotto, who played for 14 seasons in Major League Baseball with the Mets and the White Sox and the Tigers and Blue Jays. He's now the Hofstra baseball coach. He'll be joining us at 8:20. And then at hopefully at 8:35, we'll get the lacrosse coach for Mount St. Mary's, Tom Gravante will be joining us as well, hopefully. And then at 8:40, we got Michael Ventola, who is the Lehigh Valley's public relations guy. He's a PR guy. He'll be joining us at 8:40. They're doing the Phillies do a cool thing. They do this, like other teams should still do this, called the Winter Caravan. They go around the state of Pennsylvania or your area and get everybody all fired up for if there is Phillies baseball. This year because of the strike, still on, the lockout. And then at 9:05, we'll be on until 9:30 tonight, folks. Steve Trimper, the Stetson Haters baseball manager, will be joining us. Huh?
The Stetson Hatters.
Yeah, the Hatters. Yes, I went to Stetson University one time to watch the game when I was down there with my Florida trip one year. It was pretty cool.
And I remember that. We sat up in the press box.
Yes, it was pretty cool.
You were sitting there trying to lock your car from the press box.
No, that was from Daytona Beach.
Yeah, we're sitting up in the press box. He just got
a new car.
His brand new car that was parked behind the wall in the outfield. He was sitting there from the press box trying to see if he could lock it from 400 yards away.
And then at 9:20, former New York Met Barry Lyons will be joining us. Tomorrow will be the 10th anniversary of a sad day in baseball world, the death of Gary Carter, who I idolized when I was a kid growing up, playing baseball as a young kid and wanted to be number 8 behind the plate, and had an honor to meet him twice. And so we're going to talk to Barry about what it was like, being his backup, learning stuff from Gary Carter, over the years. So let's recap the Super Bowl. I had a chance to, the
halftime show was actually fairly decent this year.
It was.
Yes, it was very much so. I saw on social media it was one of the best halftime shows that people have seen in a long, long time. And hopefully, I think the NFL took a page from the NBA All-Star game. And, I mean, it had a SoCal vibe to it. It brought back a lot of generations from the 90s, seeing Snoop Dogg and Mary J. Blige and Dr. Dre and Eminem and Kendrick Lamar. I mean, it was rocking.
Yeah,
what I saw on TV.
Well, last Thursday, they had the NFL honors, and they have gave everybody who couldn't make the trip out there to talk to some of the award winners. So I had this privilege to speak to Rams tackle Andrew Whitworth, who won the Man of the Year award.
Andrew
Whitworth. Okay, Whitworth, who's the oldest guy in the book in the NFL. So he won a Super Bowl on Sunday with the Rams. So I had a chance to talk to him about what was it like winning this award for himself and for the organization. Hi, Andrew. This is Chris Heidel from Harford Radio in Baltimore, Maryland. Congratulations on winning the Man of the Year award. What does this award mean to you? Because I know there's a lot of cool people who in the NFL has became Walter Payton Man of the Year. What does this mean for you, and what does this mean for the organization?
I think it's a great representation of the organization. Like I said, Cincinnati was a great place, and we did a lot of great things in the community there too. But in a whole totality, I've just never seen, in my limited experience with certain organizations, just the total group that the Los Angeles Rams put together to always just be in the community, finding every little way they can possibly be around to help. It's really impressive, and it's been unbelievable. The support we've had, whether we were fighting social justice issues last year with different things that really we were able to put together our own fund and make a big contribution financially and with our time throughout the community of LA. And then in the years past, whether it be different giveaways I want to do or different things I want to go make an impact in homelessness, they're right there with me as a partner, not doing their own thing or not saying, hey, you know what, let's do this for publicity, but hey, how can we contribute? How can we put effort in? For me, really, this award is a symbolization of all of us, of everything we've done. And for me personally, I think that it's hard. It's hard to say that you'd want this award just because I don't think that really goes into the whole idea of being somebody of community service. But I think it's an amazing accomplishment to really feel like, hey, there's people out there that value you and value your heart for people. And to me, that's just a confirmation of maybe you're doing the right things more so than anything I say I pat myself on the back about.
Yeah, that's a great question to answer, Mike. I feel like a lot of players try to get back to their community in one shape or form, and and they don't get recognized a lot, and I think he's been doing it for years, and he finally, somebody actually saw what he was doing and said, hey.
I got one thing to add. If I'm Matt Stafford, how do you think Detroit feels?
Oh.
Well, Detroit's been there's a lot. I think there's a curse.
He was there for 7 years, couldn't get to the playoffs. He goes to the Rams the first year and wins a Super Bowl. Detroit's probably sitting there thinking back like, what happened?
I know.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, let's get back to some of the interviews we did last week. Prior to we did the show on Tuesday. Last Tuesday night before we went on the air, I had a chance to talk to Mark Duffner. And if you are a college football fan, he was the head coach at the University of Maryland back in the early 90s up to 1995, pre-Ralph Friedgen, before Ralph Friedgen showed up. And, he had one winning record at Maryland. 1 year they made it to the Independence Bowl, but, now he's at Cincinnati. He's with the Bengals. He's a senior defensive assistant, so he's been there for a very long time. So he was on Zoom, and I had a privilege to speak to him about, what has he learned in the NFL that's better than college, and plus his time and, does he miss College Park? So here's my interview with him.
Hi.
Hey, Coach, Chris Heidel from Harford Radio in Baltimore, Maryland. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Chris. Good to hear from you.
Yes. Talk about your journey from when you left the University of Maryland and you went through the NFL ranks. What did you learn from the NFL ranks?
Oh, I've learned a tremendous amount. When I left Maryland and got the opportunity actually to come to the Bengals, which was my first stop. I was here for 6 years and my first time here. I learned a tremendous amount. What I clearly learned first was that the NFL player wants to be coached or can be coached much like the collegiate player. And what I mean by that is I was concerned, well, shoot, going from college to the pros, how are they going to be in meetings? How do they learn? How motivated are they? How are they going to practice? All these things. Well, I learned very quickly that what we had taught along the way in college in terms of how you dealt with the player, trying to improve them, was very much the same. And I was, number one, excited about that. Number two, I had the privilege to work here the first time with a guy named Dick LeBeau, who was recognized maybe as one of the very best defensive coaches in NFL history. Very outstanding teacher and a great connector with players. And so, I mean, from day one, there was similarities, many similarities. Terminology was a little different, but a lot of the same fundamentals were critical that you had to do. And in fact, I also saw very quickly that in the NFL that sometimes the coaches and the pros would go quickly into scheme and teamwork rather than spend time with fundamentals, tackling, getting off of blocks, stance and starts, all the things that really equate to being successful with execution. So I learned that too, that they were quick to move on from some of that. Well, fundamentals still win, and they win at this level in a big way. But I learned a tremendous amount, both in terms of different types of defensively, different types of coverages, and different types of even game stunts, that pressures that sometimes I said, boy, if I'd had this here or had that there, I might still be at this place. But I learned a lot. But the positive thing was that players aren't really that much different. They're a little bigger, they're a little faster, and they may be a little richer, but it was very similar in terms of how you taught them.
Yeah. And if I could follow up real quick, is there one thing you missed about College Park? One thing you missed, besides coaching and the students and the stadium and the ATC? Yeah.
I loved all that. I mean, I loved, well, first and foremost, I loved College Park. I loved the university. I loved the enthusiasm that we had there. I mean, whether it was at our football games or at the basketball games when Gary Williams was, doing so well there. It's a vibrant place. And so I missed a lot. I still miss, I miss a lot about that. I loved the tradition that they had in the ACC, and I'm pulling for them big time now that they're in the Big Ten. But and I see that the facility is going leaps and bounds there. And I see Coach Loxley's recruiting is done very, very well. So I'm pulling for the Terps big time. It was a great experience for me. A lot of quality people there and quality players, and I wish them all the best. I'm pulling for them big time.
Well, good luck on Sunday. We'll be pulling for you.
We'll take all that we can get, but appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, some blasts from the past for folks here in Baltimore and Maryland with Mark Duffner, who Ralph Turgeon, Ralph, Turgeon and all those people there. So let's move on before we get the coach from NC Wilmington, the Seahawks. Coach Hood will be joining us in a couple minutes. Here is somebody who is not my brother's favorite friend. Not the greatest person ever coached at Miami. His name is Hal Golden, and he is reportedly he's going to be becoming the head coach, the defensive coordinator for the Fighting Irish sometime in a couple of days. But I had a chance to talk to him last Tuesday about Cam Akers because he coached against Cam Akers when Cam Akers was with the Seminoles, and Al Golden was 0-5 against the Noles. So here's my quick answer with him about Cam Akers.
Heidel.
Hey, Coach Golden, it's Chris Heidel from Harford Radio in Baltimore. I talked to you when you were with Miami. How's everything going?
How are you doing?
Doing great.
I'm doing great. We're in the Super Bowl, so it's great.
Yeah, congratulations on making it to the Super Bowl. I didn't realize you were in Cincinnati. When you were a coach at Miami, did you coach against Akers at Florida State? Did you see him as a freshman or a sophomore?
I can't remember what year it was, but certainly we tried like heck to recruit him. A great player, and really a physical back, big physical back, and obviously a testament to to his perseverance for doing what he's done this year. It's amazing to see him out there. But just tremendous respect for him, and obviously really happy for he and his family for his success.
Yeah, and if I could, I was trying to ask him another quick question. Like a good reporter, what happened in Miami? He did a Texas two-step around that. So hopefully tomorrow, when he gets introduced as Notre Dame's new defensive coordinator, he needs to talk about that because.
About that little thing, or about the Texas two-step?
No, when he got fired from Miami because Miami, when he was down there, he lost to Clemson 59-0 on.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Oh,
he lost to
I remember that.
TV, and Al Golden was supposed to fire a coach or something. He goes, "No, I'm not firing him." And the athletic director goes, "Then you're gone." And then the week later, my brother and I went to Duke. And that's when that holy roller thing came, the kickoff return at the 16,000 penalties.
Yep, I remember.
Yeah, so that was and that guy who was the head coach there, what's his name? Is Larry? I forget his name, but he's the coach at Howard University right now. So anyway, let's bring in some. Let's get back to some baseball here. Let's bring in Coach Hood. Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Hey guys, how are y'all?
How are you doing? Happy. Getting ready for some baseball. How's the weather down there? You guys all set for beautiful weather this weekend?
Temperatures have been great. Looking like a little rain on Friday, but hopefully not enough to cause any issues.
That's great. That's awesome. So how's preseason?
70's not bad, is it?
Yeah, 70's not bad. Hey, we're trying to get up to the 50s up here in Maryland. So I'm like, okay, 50's fine. We're gonna be 60 on Thursday. I'm like, but it's supposed to rain. I'm like, oh. Yeah.
I take rain over snow.
Exactly. So
yeah.
So how's the preparation going with you guys down there? You guys all set for this big weekend with some good teams coming into town?
Yeah, we just finished up our last kind of preseason scrimmage today, and we'll have a couple practices tomorrow and Thursday, and get in the weight room a couple days with the position guys, and we're kind of at that point where we've practiced enough against each other. It's time to go play somebody else.
Go ahead, Adam.
Yeah. Now, Coach, you were picked to finish second in the CAA, right? In front of you is Northeastern, and you guys actually share something in common. You guys have the preseason co-players of the year. So my question to you is, do you think you have a team that can knock out the Northeastern Huskies and to make the NCAA baseball tournament when the field of 64 is announced on Memorial Day Monday?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're definitely good enough to be in that position at the end of the season, but I also think Northeastern's got a chance to be really good as well. And there's several other teams in our league that I could see being in the top right there at the end of the year. And I think our league's got a lot of depth in it this year. I just looked over. I think we've got 9 returning first-team all-conference players that are back in the league, and I think 8 others that were on the second-team all-conference team. So you got 17 all-conference players throughout the league that are back. So, it's an exciting year. I think the conference is going to be really good. And, I do think, Northeastern deserves to be mentioned in that top spot right now because they got a lot of guys back, but I feel like we'll be right there at the end of the year as well.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, Coach, this weekend you got Middle Tennessee Tennessee on Friday, and then you got St. John's, over the weekend, and then I guess those two play each other, and then you play more games over the weekend. What do you see with St. John's? St. John's is not known for baseball. The only 2 people I know came out of St. John's was Frank Viola and John Franco. That's the only 2 people I know, and I don't think they're coming down pitching this weekend for the St. John Red Storm.
No, I'm glad they're not, but they've actually had a very good program. Ed Blankmeyer did a really good job there for a long time, and then Mike Hampton, one of his longtime assistants, took over as head coach a few years ago, and they're a very good team out of the north. Middle Tennessee State, we've never played them before, I don't think, but Jim Toman, who used to be the head recruiting coordinator at South Carolina when they won the national titles for 2 years, and then he was the head coach at Liberty, is the head coach now at Middle Tennessee State. So, we're just playing a 3-team round robin. Each team will play 4 games. It'll be a good weekend to kind of see what all of us have and where we're at depth wise and things like that on the mound, and obviously getting 4 games in and getting a lot of at bats for your position players. So it'll be a good weekend to kind of open up and see where everybody's at.
And it's also good for this time of year. You guys play these tournament games. You got these kids, these schools coming from the north who want to play baseball. They're coming down to your neck of the woods, and you're doing this. Like next weekend, you got another tournament with Rutgers coming to town from the Big Ten, and and other schools. So that's pretty good for you guys getting that test against these big schools, knowing that the CAA is just like almost like the Big Ten. There's some great teams in there, like JMU's final season in the league, and then you got next year you got some. I think Stony Brook's coming in next year, and you got Monmouth coming in, and Hampton. That's going to be a very good conference for baseball.
Yeah, who knows who else they're going to bring in? Hopefully, it's a few Southern teams that helps us with a little bit of travel too. but no, next weekend we've got the Carolinas Coastline Classic with us and Coastal Carolina are hosting that tournament, and Rutgers, Ball State, Illinois, and then Middle Tennessee State's coming back in to Myrtle Beach to play some games as well. So, we try to treat these first actually 5 weekends of non-conference play and play as good as competition as we can to prepare us for the conference games. And then hopefully we're playing good teams too to help build our non-conference RPI to where, potentially if we play well in the league, you don't win the conference tournament, maybe you're in position to be an at-large team. We've been in the 10 regionals the last 21 years, and 6 of those we were at-large. 4 of those 10 we were at-large selections versus winning the conference tournament. So there's avenues to get to the NCAA tournament other than winning the conference tournament, and that's just playing a good schedule and winning a lot of games.
Yeah, I was just looking at your schedule. You got Appalachian State on March 4th. You got that weekend series, and then you got Keesall State, and then Ohio State comes to your neck of the woods. That's good that will build up some RPI there because Ohio State's been that quiet team in the Big Ten.
Yeah, they're a very good program. We actually played them a couple years ago midweek after we came back from a weekend series at Arizona State, and then we ended up the same year playing them in the regional at Greenville, and actually beat them in a walk-off in extra innings to eliminate them and finish their season. So, I know their program decently. Coach Bill and me have talked about they're actually coming down and going to stay here pretty much Tuesday through Sunday, and we'll play them a midweek game on Wednesday and then a weekend series, and then we'll return the trip to Columbus, Ohio in 2024. So it gives us a chance to kind of go in a neck of the woods that we haven't been before and play, in a Big Ten opponent on the road early in the year.
Yeah. So you get a big schedule starting this weekend. Now until May, you guys will be playing every weekend and all that stuff. How are you going to keep your kids fresh and knowing that this is going to be what they're going to be playing in Major League Baseball? They're going to be playing every day, every night. They're going to be traveling. They're going to be living in a suitcase. They got to do your schoolwork. You got to make sure that's a lot of things for a college kid, because I know some college kids want to just play baseball and forget their education.
Yeah, there's some that like to do that, but we have to kind of straighten them up real quick and make sure they take care of their academics so they remain eligible. But, our guys know that they're coming here to get education as well, playing great baseball. And, the college games kind of build on weekend series, 3 games, and then playing a midweek game either on Tuesday or Wednesday. So you're playing usually 4 games a week, where in pro ball, you're typically playing 6 or 7 games a week. So it's close, but it's not quite just like pro ball. But, you're asking them to go to class during the week. And then, if we go on the road on the weekend, we're usually leaving on Thursdays. So, they got to take their books with them, study while we're on the road, and also get ready to play 3 games on the weekend. But luckily enough, we play a good amount of our games at home early. So we don't have to get on the road too much early until we get into conference play.
Yeah. I was just looking, you're playing North Carolina and North Carolina State. Can you guys win the ACC by beating those schools?
If we beat them, we'll claim a share of the title. But no, we typically midweek wise play North Carolina home and home, NC State home and home, Campbell home and home, Coastal Carolina home and home, and East Carolina home and home. So those are 5 really good teams within 2 hours of our Wilmington, so it gives us a chance to play regional caliber teams every midweek.
That's true. Hey, Adam, you got a
Yeah,
final question, Coach?
Now you guys, I was looking, the game at North Carolina, in Chapel Hill will be on the ACC network, and you guys, all your home games will be televised on Flow Baseball this year, a part of Flow Sports. So, what's it like to have your games televised, for fans that, cannot attend any of your games?
No, it's a great thing that, our school does through our Seahawk Sports Network and Flow Sports. And then obviously when we go play at other places in our state that has ESPN type broadcasts, or the ACC network or the SEC, those are all good opportunities for, families that can't make it to every game to still see us play, our recruits to see us play, and then the guys that we're recruiting that want to watch and see what our program's all about. It gives them a chance to see us basically 54 times during the year, and then in postseason. And then obviously ESPN does a heck of a job broadcasting and taking care of the NCAA tournament from the beginning of the regionals to the super regionals all the way to Omaha. So it's exciting, and college baseball has really grown a lot over the last decade or so. And I still get butterflies. I'm 2 days away and looking forward to the season opening, and then working, and just hopefully the journey over the next 4 months gets us to a point where we're competing for a national title.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hopefully, man. First, you got to win that CAA title first. That's the
Exactly.
first one.
Yeah.
And then you go to the regional flag, and then you keep. It's funny. You win your conference, then you get a regional flag, and then you get the super regional flag, and then you go to Omaha, and it keeps staying. It's like, wow. Like by the time the season's over, you're like, all right, I'm going on vacation.
A lot of steps to get there.
Exactly. But hey, the first step starts this weekend. That's the always look at it. You're always the first step, and everybody's 0-0. That's why I look at it.
One of our things we talk about is just trying to go 1-0 each day, and then trying to accumulate a lot of 1-0s. And if you do that, you get a winning streak going. But we take it one game at a time. I know that's coach speak right there, but honestly, we just try to go 1-0 each day.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Coach, I'll let you go. I know you want to get some dinner or relax. Thanks so much for coming on, and we'll talk to you down the road.
Appreciate it. You guys take care. Have a great spring.
All right, man. Talk to you soon. Be safe.
Yep.
All right, that's Coach Randy Hood, the coach from UNC Wilmington, the Seahawks. They're going to open up this weekend for baseball. So baseball starting in college, but if you're major leagues, I guess you're waiting for baseball.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask him the thing there at the end. What they say, win a game, it's a win. Win two, that's a streak.
Yeah. It is. That is a streak.
Major league quote there.
Exactly. So coming up at hopefully at 8:00, we do have Coach Cole with us right now. He'll be joining us in this short in a couple minutes here. We'll just wrap it up here. So so the Seahawks are going to be that team in the CAA that we're going to watch, along with JMU, and JMU is that basically playing out the string because they can't even play in the CAA championship game this year.
Yeah,
because of their agreement with the Sun Belt. They're moving on,
which is sad. It's called I
feel like that's a different topic for a different story for a different day. I feel like they need to let these teams. Yes, you're moving on, but the kids are not the ones who are telling them, let's go to the Sun Belt, coach, or let's go to the ACC, And it's the administration. The administration needs to say, look, let these kids play. And then, if we win a title, we'll just give the title back to you guys, and we'll just take a picture of it and send it back to the front office in Richmond. Big deal. So let's bring in the coach of the Manhattan College. They're a good baseball team. Mike Cole was the head coach, and Mike is there. Hi, Mike. How you doing?
Guys, how are you? How are you? Can you hear me?
Welcome to baseball season. Finally, you guys are. Baseball is starting finally after so much snow and -2 and all that stuff, it's over with.
We are definitely looking forward to getting down to Florida to some warmer weather and finally playing a real game. So it's definitely an exciting week for us as our program, as is for everybody else in college baseball.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your program. People around here don't know you real well because, I know you guys because I'm from New York and you guys are in, Riverdale, New York, outside of New York, in that New York tri-state area. Just talk about you guys and, how you guys, how's last year and recap it real quick.
Yeah. So Manhattan College, we play in the MAC conference. We're a Division I Northeast school. We've had a lot of success over the last 15 years. We've won 5 regular season MAC championships and have gone to the NCAA regionals 3 times in the last 12 years. So we pride ourselves on being one of the top teams in our conference and competing for a championship every year.
So Friday night you're taking on the Irish. That's a good team from the ACC. They won the regular season title last year. Did okay in the ACC tournament. Didn't get to the title game, but they're coming. I think they got some of their good players coming back. But that's going to be a good test for you guys right out the bat. Yeah,
it's definitely, as we like to say up at the north, it's definitely a tough contest coming out of the gym. But they're ranked number 4th in the country by Baseball America. Notre Dame has been a great program year in and year out in college baseball. Coach Jarrett has done a great job since taking over at Notre Dame. So it's going to be an exciting night for us Friday night down at Stetson playing Notre Dame. But, our guys are ready to go. And obviously when you're playing a great team and a great program, they're definitely excited. And, we're looking forward to the challenge ahead of us.
Go ahead, Adam.
Yeah. Now, Coach, you're not familiar, with Riverdale, New York, since I have family that is from Yonkers, New York. So
okay, yeah, right down.
Go down and play in some warmer weather compared to what you guys are having up there in the cold and snow. So tell us what's gonna be like for your going up against a Power 5 team like Notre Dame from a Power 5 conference like the ACC.
Yeah, it's obviously it's going to be a challenge. It'll definitely be a step up in talent from what we're used to in the MAC. But our guys, like you said, we're from New York City. I think we have some tough kids. I don't think we're scared to play anybody in the country. But it's definitely going to be a challenge. But it's baseball. It's college baseball. We've won some big games here at Manhattan College against some Power 5 teams. Obviously, we're going to have to take care of the baseball, pitch ahead, and get some timely hitting. The name of the game in baseball. But this is what these kids sign up for. They've known that we've been playing Notre Dame for since the middle of the summer, and they're excited to play Friday night.
Yeah, talk about the schedule. When does the schedule come out for you guys for baseball for this year? Does it come out like in the summer? Like you said, the summer. Does it come out like football? They already came out and like the season was not even over in the ACC. We had to schedule out for like next year, and they're like, dude, we're not even done with the season.
Yeah, it's actually it's crazy. We're very similar in that way. So, we're scheduling 2024 right now.
Wow.
Our conference schedules are usually 5-6 years out, so when your bye weekend is in conference. But it's definitely very similar to basketball and football, where our 2023 schedule is pretty much finished.
Wow.
Before we even started 2022.
Wow.
Jeez. So what's on the horizon for you guys next year? Because I know I was looking at some research of you guys. You haven't made it to the NCAA tournaments in 2012, right?
Yeah.
That's a long time ago. And to me, it's like, like that's 10 years. That's like, wow. I thought it would have been a little shorter than that. So is that one of your goals to first win the conference and then get to the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, obviously, I think every team in the country, first and foremost, your number one goal is to win your conference. The MAC is usually a one bid league. So you're going to have to win your conference tournament to go to the NCAA regional. Last year, we were lucky to get 2 teams into the NCAA tournament with Fairfield and Ryder. But our ultimate goal year in and year out is to go to the NCAA tournament. And, the ball's got to bounce your way. And we've been close in the last couple of years here, and hopefully this is our year.
So I was looking at this. There's a stadium you guys are playing at Clover Stadium. It's a ballpark in New York where you guys are going to have some of your games this year. Is that one of your home fields, or do you have a home field? I know in Manhattan, I guess you can't knock down any buildings.
No, it's definitely hard to build in New York City. We always say you build up.
Yeah.
We are going to play the majority of our home games will be played at Clover Stadium, which is in Rockland. It's a beautiful 5,000 seat stadium. A pro team uses it in the summertime. So that'll be exciting for us. And then we play a bunch of games kind of at our home park, which is Van Cortlandt Park in Riverdale.
Okay. Yeah. So you move around. You get people different places to come and.
Yeah, it's just Clover Park. The venue is unbelievable. It's one of the newer facilities in the Northeast. Again, it's a 5,000 seat stadium. It's a beautiful place to play. We can play night games there. So our kids look forward to going up to Rockland to play.
Yeah. Let's talk about your conference. Is there anybody going to be a surprise for you guys? You're going to look at them like, wow, they were pretty good last year. We're pretty good last year. They just got some new people. Is there somebody you look at and going like,
Yeah, I mean, every year is a different year, obviously. I think that we're going to surprise some people. We have a lot of new faces this year. We were able to get some kids off the transfer portal that are going to be a big part of what we do this year. But you have the frontline teams that have been there the last couple of years that are going to be really good again. Fairfield is returning 3 of their weekend starters from a team that went 38-5 last year and won 2 games in the NCAA tournament, beating Southern and Arizona State. Monmouth has all 3 weekend starters coming back. Their number 1, Trey Dombrowski, was the pitcher of the year in the Cape Cod League this summer. Their number 2, Rob Hensey, was actually the MAC pitcher of the year last year. So they're kind of loaded at the top. The league top to bottom should be very, very competitive this year.
Adam, go ahead.
Yeah. Now you guys, now the MAC has an agreement with ESPN, to televise all the conference games. So tell us what it's like to have an agreement with ESPN and allows the whole world, to see your team, the Manhattan Jaspers, play during conference.
No, it's great. As a coach, you always want to get your brand out there. So the more people that can see your program, it's obviously going to help with recruiting. A lot, especially, the world has kind of been turned upside down here in the last 2 years. So with COVID and everything, we weren't allowed to play in front of fans, kind of how we wanted to the last couple of years. So our fans being able to see our team play on TV, obviously is very important for us.
Yeah. And with all this stuff with COVID, is the league still have that protocol still in place, or? Yeah, I know everybody's doing this the mask and all that. Yeah,
we are finally back to, I guess you can say, normalcy to a certain degree.
Right. Nice.
So, we're flying down to Florida on Thursday. We're gonna have to wear our masks on the plane, but we're everybody on the team is vaccinated and boosted. Last year we had a practice with masks on. This year we're not wearing masks at practice. So it's, from a playing standpoint, it was obviously difficult for our players to kind of go through that. And it's good to see them kind of back to normal, being able to hang out with each other on campus. So it's definitely much different this year than it has been the last 2 years.
Exactly. Well, Coach, good luck this week on your trip down to Florida. Hope everybody be safe, be well, and we'll talk to you down the road.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Have a great
Take
day.
care.
Great
You
night.
too.
See you. I love that New York accent.
Yes, I do. I love it too. I love it
I
too.
feel like I'm back home with the people in Oceanside. If you
Oceanside up there on Long
you know,
Island.
if you Adam, if you ever meet my father, he has that deep New York.
Well, I've got.
Yeah,
Well,
it's classic. I can just
oh
hear
yeah,
him.
yeah. I
Right
am.
now, I can call him up. I'm like, hey, Dad, what are you doing? How you
Oh
doing?
yeah.
I'm like, how you doing?
Yeah.
How you doing? So it's 8:11 here on the program. Let's get cracking here. Was bringing a good friend of mine, a former Krakens. My good friend of mine, a classmate of mine. It's pretty funny that she is very successful at Harford Community College doing women's lacrosse. My good friend NIKKI Murphy. How you doing, my classmate?
Hi.
How are you?
Hi, Chris. How are you?
Doing good. I always look through my phone and I'm thinking, I need somebody. And I'm like, let me bring in NIKKI. She's in the bullpen.
I got you.
Yeah, I love it. So how's life? How's everybody? How's the kids? How's everybody?
Good. Yeah, I think last year I was filming from home out on my deck, and I think my daughter made an appearance. But yeah, my kids are good. They're good. They're playing basketball right now and indoor soccer.
Well, that's good. That's good. That's awesome. So you guys are back at it this year.
Yeah.
After a year off. So what's it like having practices and getting things? Are you a little rusty as the head coach?
Listen, we keep saying we're knocking the cobwebs off. It's a situation. Yeah, we haven't, we haven't had a season for 2 years, right? Wow. So we are, we're getting back into it together, like the players included. So I feel like it was really important for us in the very beginning. We started in the middle of January, about a month ago, just to make sure everybody realizes we're on the same page here, that coaches included, we're just trying to knock the cobwebs off.
Yeah. You had a couple girls who played played softball for the softball coach, right?
Yeah.
And
listen, my MVP of the tournament for when we won national champion, she ended up, because we didn't have a season, played for softball along with 2 of the other girls. Now that girl, Sarah Dudick, she ended up transferring to Limestone and she's playing for them. So I was like, look, you can play softball, but don't get hurt.
We need you this spring. Don't get hurt.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, it was awesome. Just the girls are athletic. I feel like we actually have 3 soccer players on our team right now who played soccer in the fall. So we welcome them with open arms, and we try to support all the other teams as well. Like Thursday, what's that? Tomorrow. Is it? No, Thursday, 2 days. Yeah, this is where I am, right?
Yeah,
I just came home. I don't know where
today was Wednesday.
Thursday, we're going to go watch the men and women basketball team play as like a team bonding and supporting the other teams. So we try to really, be there for the other teams, and they are there for us as well. So it's pretty awesome.
So your first game of the season is against Carroll. Is that Carroll Community College? Where did that come from?
Yeah, so Carroll Community College, they I think they might be club this year. I'm not exactly sure what their status is, but we are looking to play them and they're looking to enter in. So we've never played them before. They've never had a team, at least because I've been with the program since 2012. So at least from 2012 on, we haven't played Carroll. So that's exciting. We're going to play them home and away. So that'll be nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And I'm thinking, I was looking at the schedule. I'm like, Carroll Community College? I'm like, where in the heck is that? I'm like, I drove past Westminster all the time. Yeah. Oh, there's it. I think we lost her. Uh-oh. You still there? Yeah, the demons of this broadcast booth. Uh-oh. NIKKI, can you hear me? I don't know. I'm going to write her a message saying log back in.
And then watch, as soon as you finish
Yeah.
that, she'll just start coming back in.
I know. Maybe let's get rid of this one. Bring in this one.
Are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got clone there. You got two of them on my dashboard. I'm like, which one is real? Yeah.
It's a mess.
Name that person, and like you open up the door, like it's like let's make a deal. Like you just open up the door, like wrong deal.
It's a mess around here.
I know. It's the internet. It happens. I'm in an old house here in Cockeysville with Nicole, my girlfriend. She says hi. Yeah. She's watching me on TV. She always watches me every Tuesday when I do this. But it's a nice little whole house we have here, and sometimes the internet has a hiccup.
Yeah.
So we blame it on the person who used to live here. So I go, good job, Uncle Park. Yeah.
We just got to be flexible, right? That's all we can do.
That's right.
And laugh, right?
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
So you won the championship in 2019. So
Yeah.
this year you guys were picked to win it all again. So what was it like having somebody say, "Oh, by the way, you're the number one in the country"? What do you think about that?
It's weird. We just had a practice tonight, and in the beginning of the practice, we have all the girls huddle around and we talk about a couple things. And I mean, I let them know. I'm sure they know already.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we're ranked number one, and I mean, it's been 2 years, so it's like, and these girls, like only one of the girls that we have on the team played with us in 2020 when we played a couple games before our season was canceled. So like they don't really get it, yet. But we're slow. I think they're slowly starting to understand. And when they saw that ranking that we're number one, I mean, you do have to take that seriously. That's the culture that we've created over the years. And that's the history of the program. And that's our alumni, and that's our current players. And it's special. I think it's really special, and we don't take it for granted. We don't take it lightly. And I told him today, let it fuel your fire in practice, because the harder we work in practice, the better we make ourselves and our teammates. And so it's nice. There's no real pressure behind it. There's no pressure on the girls, but it's just nice to know that you're in a program that's recognized. I think that's special. Yeah,
and you guys are now the hunted, so it's like they're going to hunt you down, because last year you guys weren't around, so they're like, where's Harford Community College?
Yeah,
where are they? Where did they go? Now they're like,
we're kind of on the map, right?
We're going to take it down, and there's a lot of pressure.
Lacrosse too has done so well, and it's just it's really neat. Like we practice back to back, and so we do a little handoff. We have the field first, and then they come in, and it's just a really special relationship that we have between the two teams, and the programs that we've been able to build, and the kids that we've been able to bring in and see what they do after our program. I mean, it's pretty special. And again, I don't take it for granted. I appreciate, especially with COVID, having it taken away. It's just nice to be back,
Right. You got one, Steve?
Yeah, in regards to COVID, how did a lot of the girls cope, with not being able to play last year? How did they, keep themselves mentally, mindful to stay active, to be able to be ready to go for when things did get back to normal?
Yeah, so we were able to practice last year. So we did practice. It was weird. It was different. But we did some workout routines with the kids. We were able to get on the field and actually play a little bit. But yeah, it was a lot of, when we can get together, we're just going to appreciate the time that we have. And when we can't, we would give them workout packets to do, and just let them know like how important it is to keep moving. And then we got together in the fall. We were able to have a fall ball this past fall. And so we got to practice. We practiced 2 days a week with each other, and we just started knocking the cobwebs off then. And then in this spring, we started a month ago practicing 5 days a week, which is a lot. We're not used to it. And so there's a lot, there's so much to dive into. Actually, we played Wilmington University. We scrimmaged them last weekend, I think, or maybe 2 weekends ago. And Wilmington University is a 4-year school. It's D2. They played last year. They had a season. They knocked their cobwebs off like a long time ago. And so here we are. We're like, oh gosh. So we walked away from that game learning so much about where we are and where we want to be. And as a team, we really came together and identified specifically what exactly we want to work on. And so these past weeks, 2 weeks in practice have been awesome because we're all bought in. You know, this is what we need to work on. And it's their ideas. They're the ones that presented it. And us as coaches, we love it. And so, yeah, we've been together, but not like this. This is pretty great.
Exactly. Well, NIKKI, let me let you go. Thank you so much for coming on tonight. Good luck with practice, and thank you for the email this evening. I'll email.
Thank you so much. It was so nice seeing you.
Yeah, and I'll talk to you soon, and we'll talk to you when the season goes, and I'll stop by for a game. Hopefully, I have some time.
Please do. I'd love it. Thank you, guys.
All right,
Bye.
see you. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, she was one of those successful people in high school. Yeah, they were like, when I was like the guy in like choir, like sat in the corner.
Oh,
You still do today.
no.
So it's
Sorry, Chris.
it's okay.
I had to throw one at you like that, man. It was just
It's
the way
okay.
the time it was.
All right, let's bring it in. This coach, the former major leaguer, spent 14 seasons in the Big Show with the Blue Jays, Rangers, Tigers. Also, he spent the last 2 seasons of his baseball career with the New York Mets. You know, Frank Catalanotto with us. Hi, Coach. How you doing?
Good. How you guys doing?
Thanks for coming on. I was looking at your bio. I was like, wow, you were a Met. You played for 2 years, and I'm a big Met fan since I was 5 years old. So, what was it like playing? Were you at Citi Field, and did you like that field?
I was at Citi Field, and I did. I liked it. It was nice to wrap up my career, with the New York Mets. I enjoyed being able to sleep in my own bed and try, commute to work and have my friends and my family come to the games. It was awesome.
Nice. So talk about your how did you get this? I know the coach who was there last year was a good friend of the program. And, what was it like getting the phone call saying, hey, you want to be part of D1 baseball? Because I know you came from, New York Technology School or something like that?
Yes, I came from New York Tech. And, unfortunately, they canceled all their athletics there after COVID hit. So it was disappointing for me, because I really enjoyed coaching college baseball. So to get the phone call from Hofstra, to be able to be their head coach at the D1 level was really exciting. It's a thrill of mine to be able to to live on Long Island and be a head coach here at Hofstra. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I was doing some research. You had a great career in Major League Baseball. Yeah, I got to say, who could get 6 hits in a game? That's pretty good. That's not bad, And you still remember that game when you were in Toronto? And look at these uniforms, folks. You haven't seen these Blue Jays uniforms. They used to be the not the ones they're wearing today. It's like the dark ones.
Yes.
Look at these. Look at these suckers. It's like. So what was it like playing? Getting 6 hits in the major leagues? It must have been like. Were you nervous did you know you got 6 hits, or were you just like by the time you got to the your last at bat going, wow, I'm 5 for 5 here. Yeah.
No, listen, every single hit you have, how many you have. And I remember my going up for my 6th at bat, Vernon Wells, who was the center fielder, grabbed me before I went up for my last at bat and said, hey, if you get a 6th hit here, it's a record, a Blue Jay record. So don't screw it up. So he put some pressure on me, but I knew going up that I had a chance to break the record and get 6 hits in one game. And luckily I was able to get that last base hit.
Yeah. Before we go talk about your college, your job now, I got to ask you, who was your toughest pitcher you ever faced in the batter's box? I know you probably pitched, hit against all these classic hitters, pitchers like Nolan Ryan and Roger Clemens and all that stuff. Who was the toughest?
Yeah, for me, it was Pedro Martinez. Pedro Martinez owned me. He was awesome. Yeah, I see that Boston Red Sox. Yeah, I see.
Hey, Adam, comment down. You might be coming up there and have a nice little choice words with you. Just kidding. Go ahead.
Uh-oh.
Go ahead. Yeah, so why was Pedro that tough? Just the way he delivered the baseball, or
yeah,
the way
so it was he threw a great fastball, but also his best pitch to me was a changeup, and he threw it out of the same slot and with the same arm speed, everything looked exactly the same. So, as a hitter, I didn't know if it was a fastball or a changeup coming in. And it always seemed like whenever I was looking for the changeup, he threw the fastball. And whenever I was looking for the fastball, he threw the changeup. So it was almost impossible to hit him.
Yeah. Well, my dad, this is back in the old school, my dad was playing college ball, and he was in the batter's box with Jim Bibby, who used to pitch for the Pirates. This is back in the 70s. And my dad actually fouled one of them off. Fastball. I said, what was the sound like? My dad goes like this. That's what it is. It's you can't even. It's just like if it's searing. It just comes right to you, and you just basically need to figure out where it is. Yeah. And
it takes a long time to get used to that. Trust me.
Hey, Adam, do you have any nice stories for?
Now, Coach, you played with the Tigers, and I believe you played at Tiger Stadium.
Yep.
So I have two questions for you. First of all, what was it like to play at Tiger Stadium? And the second question, we with the Red Sox had Jerry Remy as an analyst, for all of our Red Sox telecasts. But you in Detroit had the late, great Hall of Famer Ernie Harwell calling your games. So what was it like to have Ernie calling your games when you were a member of the Tigers?
So I was very fortunate to get to play there at that old Tiger Stadium. To be able to be on the same field as guys, Ty Cobb and Babe Ruth and all those old time players was pretty awesome. Obviously the stadium was old. The clubhouse was very small and the dugout was small. The amenities, there weren't a lot of amenities there, but it was really nostalgic and really awesome to just be on that same field. As far as Ernie is concerned, what a great guy. I mean, he was just an unbelievable announcer, but also just a great, great human being. So it was nice to get to know him my first few years in the league. And, I have such great memories of him calling a lot of my games. My dad kept every single game that I played in, he's got the video and stuff. So every so often I'll put it on and I'll hear Ernie Harwell's voice. And it's pretty cool to hear him call the games.
Nice. Let's talk about your college job now, because that's the 14 years that you probably still enjoy. But I know a lot of kids are like, your players are going like, okay, now you're my manager. So what's that? How's practice going? I know you guys play next week in Houston, Texas against Houston Baptist. So how's the feeling like with practice? Are you guys practicing indoors?
Yeah, we're practicing indoors. Luckily, last week we had 3 days it was nice enough outside. It was upper 40s, low 50s that we were able to get out on the field. So that was nice. But for the most part, we've been inside, and it's been pretty fun to watch. In the fall when we started, we had a lot of work to do, and to see the progress from the fall to now has been pretty impressive. So I really feel like getting this season started, we're in a good spot. We've got some guys that can drive the ball. I think we're going to score some runs, and we've identified some pitchers that that I think are going to help us out. So my coaching staff has been outstanding. All four of us have played professional baseball. The other three guys played in the minor leagues for quite a while. So we're able to teach them some things that we learned in professional baseball, and these guys are picking it up really quick.
Wow, that's good.
Cool.
And how's your pitching staff this year? Because I know Hofstra had a pretty good pitching staff the last couple of years. There was one kid a couple of years ago threw a no-hitter, so that was pretty cool. I had him on later in the year. But how's the pitching staff, and how do you set up stuff for the weekend? Because I know you need to find a Friday night pitcher, and then you got to find Something can be a Saturday, and then you got those back-to-back games. Maybe you might have a doubleheader on Saturday. How's that playing out?
It's going pretty good. We lost a couple of really good pitchers from last year. So I thought that might be our weakness, but it turns out that some guys are kind of sticking their necks out and showing us that they can pitch. So we've got a pretty good idea now who's going to be our Friday guy, who's going to be our Saturday guy, and who's going to be our Sunday guy. We haven't yet told the guys, but I think this might be one of our strengths. And like I said, in the fall, I thought it might be a weakness. So to watch, my pitching coach, coach these guys up and help them get to the level that they are now has been pretty impressive to watch. So we're really feeling good about the pitching going into the season.
That's good. That's always good. Knowing that you have a good pitching core, and that could probably, and with the CAA pretty good with, JMU, it's like their final season, and you got Towson, who, they were pretty good last year at the end of February, March, they got better. And, and then you guys in Northeast basically ran away with the regular season title and the CAA title. And they were and Mike Glavin, who you probably played with, right?
I played against him, I believe. Yeah, a little bit. Yep.
So that's going to be a very interesting little battle there for you guys.
Yes.
I heard his brother Tom, who's some famous guy we know. I heard he shows up.
Pretty good.
Yeah. I heard that the other day. I heard that one time. I was like, really? Tom Gravante just shows up whenever he wants to? I was like, yeah, that's pretty good. You got an automatic pitching coach that's
right.
Pop in. But. Yeah, it's going to be a great season, and you guys, open up in Houston. Is that Houston Baptist? Is that like you guys are in the open air stadium, or you got like a dome? Because I know Houston is almost like this time of year. There was 56 degrees last weekend. I had a friend who was down there doing some games down there.
Yeah, it's an open air stadium. I don't know a heck of a lot about it, but I do know that Lance Berkman is the head coach. So that's gonna be pretty cool going down there, seeing him and playing against him.
Maybe I can probably get him on the program next week. We'll see if we get him on. Maybe we can have Lance Berkman there, former Astro.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. And you spend time in Texas, so you're used to the Texas weather. And I got to ask you, with that new field at Gold Light Field, with the dome next to Jerry World, and there's no room for anything there anymore.
I know.
They kept the old stadium for some football or something like that. I'm like, just knock it down, man. But how hot was it to play in Texas during the summer? Because I heard stories. It was like you guys were like, thank God there's a thunderstorm that came in, before the game.
Yep. It got so unbearable. I mean, I remember games. They would start the games at 7:30, and a lot of times in the summer, we wouldn't have day games ever because, even on Saturday and Sunday, they'd start the games at 7:30 at night. And I remember I'd look up at the board, and it would have the temperature up there, and it would say 102 degrees at 7:30 at night. And it would be like, this is crazy. How are we playing like this? So it got pretty unbearable at times.
Yeah, it must have. And it was fun too. You were part of some of those good Ranger teams, right?
Yes. Yeah, we had some pretty good teams. Unfortunately, when I was there, we didn't get to the playoffs. It was shortly after I left, they started going to the playoffs. Yeah.
That figures. Every time, like I talked to former major leaguers, like, they left a year later and they win the World Series. I'm like,
yep.
You're like, oh man. Real quick before I let you go, with the Olympics going on, you did a lot of. You played for Team Italy, in the World Baseball Classic. What was it like doing that? And do you hope one day that, we got baseball still back in the Olympics, but it's pretty cool to having Team, Italy and everybody else. What was that experience like?
The experience was great. I think Major League Baseball does a great job with that World Baseball Classic. It kind of promotes baseball all over the place, all over the world, in all these different countries. And it was cool for me to be able to play with some of the kids from Italy who, they'd come over and they're so passionate about baseball. Obviously, we know soccer is the big sport over there, but they're so passionate about baseball. And, I remember with me and Mike Piazza would be talking about, the game or the pitcher or whatever in the dugout. And sure enough, they would start trickling over and start listening to us and wanted to learn. And we'd kind of be mentors for them. So it was really neat, and I hope to be able to. I coached in the World Baseball Classic for Team Italy the last time, and I hope in the future I'll be able to do the same thing.
I mean, and it's also cool having Mike Piazza with you.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
You can actually tell them stories, about his days in New York and and all that stuff. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, Frank, thank you so much for coming on. Enjoy your rest of your week. Hopefully the weather gets nice and warm there on Long Island. I'm from Oceanside, New York, so I know sometimes this time of year it might get a little warm up there, but enjoy the practices, and we'll talk to you when you get down in the middle of the season, maybe down when you get down to Towson.
All right. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Thanks, sir.
Frank. Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir.
All right. That's Frank Catalanotto, who head coach at Hofstra University, joining us tonight. A little baseball. So we were trying to get the coach from Mount St. Mary's on, but he never sent me a text message. So we'll try to get him on another time down the road. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see who these people send a text message for. Let's see. We got some. No, we don't. I got somebody sent me a nice text message. Yep. Anyway, what's another major leaguer? We this weekend the State Farm. The one I'm talking about Texas for, because State Farm is having a tournament out there in the Globe Life Field, and they have Arizona, Michigan, what's that team? Oklahoma, Kansas State. They're all playing at Globe Field, and I had a chance.
Auburn University, I believe, is playing also, if my memory serves me.
Yeah, something like that. Auburn is. Yes, Auburn is. Chip Hale, who used to be a former major leaguer, former coach, former Met, former everybody. He's the coach of Arizona now.
Yes, he is.
I had a chance to talk to him earlier in the month about playing at, going to be, what's the difference of playing at the new stadium in Texas towards the old stadium where, it was outdoors, and like you heard, it was like 104 degrees, and, everybody wants to, you just want
Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated or
go
for a couple hours. So here's my interview with Coach Hale. Hello, this is a question for Coach Hale. This is Chris Heidel from Herman Radio in Baltimore. I know you were just with the Detroit Tigers last year. What's the difference between the new ballpark in Texas for the Globe Life to the old ballpark at Arlington?
Well, number one, it's indoors, which makes it a lot easier, and you're going to play the game and you're going to get started on time. I always felt like the old ballpark was beautiful. I actually played in the old ballpark, and I loved it. So anytime you come to Arlington, great fans, great baseball atmosphere. That didn't change. Only thing is just playing on the turf, and they've got the newest, best turf you can have. And, obviously when I was there with the Tigers, we had huge crowds, which we expect to draw really well here too. So we're super excited for it.
Yeah, that's Coach Chip Hale, who is now the head coach of Arizona baseball.
Yep. And
baseball, other teams playing this weekend. You got the Liberty. We had Liberty University on a couple weeks ago with Coach Jackson. They're going down to Florida to play the Gators this weekend, 7:00 on the SEC network. No, that's my brother's favorite team. And then our friend at Towson University, Coach Tyler. He's going to be going down to his alma mater to take on Miami. And we told him if he takes 2 out of 3 from the Canes, he will be having a welcome party here.
Yeah. And actually, to let the viewers know, Chip Hale took over for Jay Johnson, who is now the head baseball coach at LSU. And Coach Johnson, he brought over some really good players from Arizona, including one of the players is Jacob Berry, who was I believe he was the first baseman at the University of Arizona. So he went with Jay Johnson over to LSU.
Okay.
And I believe you can catch the Towson versus Miami game on ACC Network Extra.
We'll figure it out. I didn't see it on their schedule, but we'll find out.
I think it is.
I'll send it to you. Yeah. So in the meantime, let's bring in Mike Ventola, who is the PR guy for the the Ironpigs of Lehigh Valley, and also during the basketball season, you do basketball for New Jersey Institute. So thanks, Mike. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you guys for having me. So looking forward to talking a little baseball with you guys.
Oh yes, everybody is ready for baseball because we're dying for college, but we're waiting for the pros to get moving here. But because they're having this lockout, so you guys are having the Phillies are still doing their winter caravan tour. So tell the folks, how long have the Phillies been doing this? And they've been doing this for years, right?
Yeah, they've been going back a long time. At least for the Ironpigs, it's been since their first year back in 2008. I know for the Reading Fighting Phils, it goes back even further than that. So, but because of the lockout, the Phillies, and the Ironpigs, and of course even for the Reading Fighting Phils, just wanted to keep in tradition. Wanted to keep it, keep the caravan afloat. So at least for us in Lehigh Valley, we're excited to have some really good Phillies alumni, such as Mickey Morandini, Tommy Green, and Milt Thompson. The Philly Fanatic will be on hand. Scott Fransky, the radio voice of the Phillies, will be on hand. So we're really excited about this lineup that we have. So I've worked with Mickey. Mickey was an assistant coach when I was with the Reading Fighting Phils. Great guy. I've had the privilege of meeting Tommy Green in the past before. I know Scott Fransky really well, so I'm excited to see those guys, and excited to meet Milt Thompson for the first time. Of course, he was the hitting coach for the 2008 World Series champions, for the Phillies back in 2008. So it's going to be a fun time. It'll be on Thursday, February 24th. And we still have tickets available. Get to ironpigsbaseball.com for those who are watching, listening, that are in the Lehigh Valley area. We'd love for you to come out and take part in the festivities.
Yeah, tickets are available. They're $100, but you get 2 pair of tickets for $180. You get sponsorship opportunities, a program ad, an autograph bat. That's pretty good stuff. And you can actually use it if you need a birthday gift. You got someone who's a Phillies fan, you can wrap it up and give it to them.
Absolutely. So, I mean, look, and obviously
next month, that'd be a good one. Good one for you.
Yeah, I don't mind the Phillies, but the Phillies and Mets don't see eye to eye. Okay, we have a problem. Okay,
the Phillies and the Mets certainly do not. They're big time rivals. As you could see, of course. By the way, I grew up a Yankee fan. That Red Sox banner's got to go, my friend.
I love it, man. I love it.
I mean, I'm from New England, so I have to. I mean, it's like
Jeez, Adam, you got your friend got you, from Hofstra.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, Mike.
I was a Red Sox fan. I lived in New England, so it's like I go back. To the years of Jerry Remy, calling games with Sean McDonough, and I can say I'm also an Atlanta Braves fan.
Oh, no.
So the Braves and Phillies have a rivalry, and we did win the World Series championship last year and the National League East championship again. So
all right, you two, calm down. This is fun.
I'm letting them go because it's like anything else. For the Atlanta Braves, they've always been bridesmaids. Rarely,
yeah.
So
True.
Kudos to them. It was the World Series was enjoyable last year. But we're excited for baseball, guys. I mean, our opening day is Tuesday, April 5th. So, fans who are intrigued to see who is the next wave of Phillies prospects, we're excited because we should have a few of them at Coca-Cola Park this season.
Yeah, I've been up there once. I went up there a couple of years ago when the Tim Tebow tour was rolling into town. It was
2019 season. That was my first year back.
It was funny. Everybody came up there, all these people from Lehigh Valley, you get your media people, and I'm sitting there, and I swear, I think, because I met Tebow a couple times before, when he was with the Jets, and all stuff. I'm sitting there, and he's staring at me going, "Come on, dude, I know you. Give me some questions." I'm looking at the photograph going, "Why are you looking at me for?" I don't like you. I'm a Florida State guy, You're a Gator. I don't look like Gators. Go away. But how was that experience like having someone like that, a national champion, Heisman Trophy winner who's trying to get to the major leagues? Did you guys have a great crowd that week?
Yeah, we did. I mean, it was one of the few times. I think it was the first of 2 trips for Syracuse. Ended up getting hurt later on in the season. But I tell people all the time, a Class A player and a person. I mean, he is a dynamic human being. You're not going to find someone who was nicer, easy to deal with. He signed autographs like you wouldn't believe. So, I like to tell people all the time, as a human being, he's A+. Now, he struggled. I mean, let's be honest, he was not a baseball player. Football was his claim to fame. And I'm rooting for Tim, though, because I actually think Tim's got a chance to have an unbelievable career covering college football. And I think if he wants to, he would be outstanding in the booth one day. I think if he can become an analyst in a booth, I think he's got a golden opportunity. But him and his wife, they have other things that I know they do. So, their philanthropic work, they're very active in the community. Of course, Tebow, Tim is he's a very faithful man, religious man. So, he's got his, he works with the ministry and things of that nature. So, my time with, dealing with Tim for that brief period, it was awesome.
That's cool. That's nice. Back to the people coming to the caravan. Tommy Green is familiar with all the Phillies fans. He pitched the no-no. Back in early
second start back in '93, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it was one of those. I think it was in Montreal or something like that. So it was pretty interesting. And with Mickey Mornidini, I could hear what's his name, Harry Callis doing that. Call. Like Mickey Mornidini coming up. Me growing up as a Met fan and here in Long Island and moved down here, it was great to go to the beach to watching Phillies games on TV. I was like, okay, this is interesting watching Phillies baseball in Delaware, but it was pretty neat to watch, different baseball.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think all of us here, can agree that, yes, do we have our teams? I like to tell people now, and especially I've been getting older, I've been working in minor league baseball now for 12, 13 years, is that I am truly a baseball fan first and the team I root for second. I love the game. I want this game to continue to grow and continue to blossom. Right now, of course, Major League Baseball and the Players Association they're trying to figure things out. So what's nice is for all of us who are fortunate enough to work in minor league baseball, for the players who are actually not on the 40-man roster, if that lockout continues, they're going to be uninterrupted. We're going to be uninterrupted. We're going to play. And we're really excited about it. So, I'm excited about the staff that's coming to Lehigh Valley. I think there's going to be some cool players. I think, if depending on what happens during spring training, I would have to think Bryson Stott is a starting shortstop for the Ironpigs this year, unless he really does extremely well in big league camp and Didi Gregorius struggles, then he can certainly test the Phillies. But I just ultimately think, the Phillies' top prospect will be in Lehigh Valley this season. So, but I mean, we're less than 50 days until opening day. It's coming.
Yeah, it's true. And it's always, and AAA baseball is great because you can see them, you guys up there in Lehigh Valley or, where the Orioles are down in Norfolk. I've been to a Norfolk game and that's pretty cool, where the Tide used to be the Mets AAA affiliate. And the whole ballpark's full of Met stuff. It's like there's no Oriole thing at all. It's like you got the Orioles been there for like 5-6 years. Get rid of them and all that stuff. That's not Mets are not here anymore. Go away. But I love it. It's great to see. My history of my team going. Wow, that's where Dwight Gooden came up from. Really?
Well, it's like for when you come to Coca-Cola Park, you'll see as Chris, as like Ironpigs branding is all throughout the place. But I think we do a very good job in recognizing that we are the Phillies' top affiliate. So you can walk on the concourse and see our pigs to the bigs. Anytime that there's reference to the Phillies, we make sure that we get that out there in our messaging. And, it's kind of like for the Boston Red Sox, Worcester. I mean,
the Blue Sox.
Pawtucket was a Graceland in AAA.
Yes, it was.
Polar Park and what's going to happen in Worcester, the Red Sox put so much money in that place that it's even to the point now they send guys to rehab in Worcester. They don't even send them down to Fort Myers. They'll send them to Worcester because of the facilities on how good it is. I mean, they still send guys down to Fort Myers, but if the Woo Sox are home and guys ready to rehab in AAA, it's nice. They can just stick them right there. So, I love minor league baseball. What I tell people, I go, you get the best of both worlds. You come out, it's a cheap experience in a sense of you're not spending $100,000, not spending hundreds of dollars in one night. Mm-hmm. And the other side of it too is you get that interaction with ball players and coaches that you wouldn't really get at the big league level. And third, as I always like to say, you get free stuff. I mean, you get a bobblehead, you watch a fireworks show, you get some sort of giveaway. You can't beat the experience. I mean, myself, selfishly, guys, I'd like to get to the big leagues one day. Yeah. Whether it be in PR or, of course, Chris, as you know, I do broadcast work as well. So, I'd like that opportunity. But for now, I'm just biding my time, at the highest level here in minor league baseball. So, and in my opinion, work for the best, AAA affiliate in the country. So,
cool.
Can't get much better than that.
Yeah. Let's talk about your other job during the wintertime, because I know during the winter, you spend time in the Jersey Institute, of Technology, and when you hear that name, you're like, oh, that's basketball. That's totally basketball. What conference did they play in? The American East?
Yeah, they play in America East. So they play teams such as Stony Brook, who will actually no longer be in the conference. They're switching over to the CAA. Binghamton, UMass Lowell, University of Albany, UMBC down by you. I think it's in Maine, and I feel like and New Hampshire. So, it's a very good conference. I like it. I think NJIT, from a men's and women's basketball perspective, compete very well in it. Some other sports are doing a really good job. Actually, NJIT swimming and diving team, was able to compete, get to the America East championships, but I believe New Hampshire won, or actually UMBC won. So, the sports, it's funny because NJIT's come a long way. It's an engineering school. I mean, you have walking brainiacs walking through those hallways. Even the basketball, even the athletes. We did a feature on the broadcast recently of multiple players on the girls basketball team that have 3.8, 3.9, 4.0 GPAs, and they're still playing Division I basketball. They're over 500 for the first time in years. They're 7-5 in the conference, and they got a chance for the first time in program history to host a first round matchup in the conference tournament. So, and the men's team they're battling. They had they've won 2 out of their last 3 games. So they're going to have a spot in the America East tournament, I think. So, it's a good mid-major conference. I mean, it's not like by us, Seton Hall or Rutgers or Villanova or, St. Joe's or any of those schools, but it's, and I think, NJIT, they've done a tremendous job just building the program from where they once were years ago.
I do have to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Your favorite football team is the New York Jets. I feel for you because I'm a Long Island guy. I feel for you because I'm from that area. My dad still talks about Joe Namath.
My dad does too, but my dad's a Giant fan, though.
Yeah. So I still hear stories about how Joe Namath had a quick release and all that stuff. And I feel like, and my older brother's the only one in my family who's still a Jet fan. And I ask him, what for? And he goes, I still love the Jets. I'm like, okay.
I think Adam, are you a Patriot fan?
Oh no, he's bringing out the other one.
I just got to ask. I know what I'm dealing with.
2-time AFC champion, the other New York team, the Buffalo Bills.
I can deal with that because it's funny. I'm a Jet fan. I'm a loyal fan.
I know.
My dad is a Giants fan. Years ago, so years ago, it's funny if you saw pictures of me as my older brother and I as little boys. Phil Simms jerseys were on us. But as we got a little older, Dad started taking us to the NFL games. Giant tickets were expensive to come by. And there's even still to this day, it's a tough seat to get. Yeah. So started taking us to Jet games. My brother was smart and didn't buy in. I did because I remember watching Vinny Testaverde, Jumbo Elliott, Curtis Martin. Man, I even remember when Tom Tupa was punting and stepped into because Testaverde gets hurt, tears his ACL, and Tom Tupa ends up throwing 2 touchdown passes, nearly leads the Jets to beat the Patriots at the Meadowlands that day. Yeah, I'm a disgruntled Jets fan, but I'm a loyal fan. I think they're in a good place right now. And but it's funny, Adam, my buddy and I, who's a bigger Jets fan than me. We agree, though, when it comes to the division, I think the Jets and the Bills probably are the least of rivals compared to like the Bills and the Patriots or the Bills and the Dolphins. Same with the Jets. The Jets, my buddy, he can't stand Miami more. I can't stand New England more because a lot of Jet fans still can't forgive Dan Marino for the fake spike game.
Oh my God! I know.
Oh gosh! Oh my!
I can't forgive Tom Brady for ruining my youth for 20 years. I mean, that's my
problem. Yeah.
Well, Mike, I was up in I was up in Foxborough one time. I was with a friend, lady friend of mine, and she gave me a pass, and I was on the field, and Brady was like right where I have a paper towel roll, right where where I'm pointing, and I'm staring at him because I'm a Joe Montana fan, and I'm sorry, you're not the GOAT when you lose 3 or 4 Super Bowls, okay? How are you the GOAT if you lose Super Bowls? Okay, Montana is perfect. Bradshaw is perfect. Joe Namath is still perfect, and he's wearing his jacket from the '60s. Still think he's rocking. Yeah.
I used to have that same argument, but not anymore. Despite Tom Brady going to 10 Super Bowls and only winning 7, can't dispute that. And Joe Montana, Joe Montana was Joe Cool, had the comebacks. But if you're telling me now, if I want one quarterback, I'm taking Tom. And that's as a disgruntled Jets fan, I'm taking Tom over Joe. And I remember Joe Montana when I was a little boy. I kind of remember him more as a Chief than I do as a 49er. But Joe Montana, to me, it's Brady won Montana too. And I think Brady bypassed Montana when he actually just won his last Super Bowl with Tampa Bay. I think that, to me, you can't dispute 7 Super Bowls. You just can't. And in all of his comeback victories and where he came from, remember something. Joe Montana was a top prospect coming out of Notre Dame. He won a national championship at Notre Dame. Right. Eyes were already on Joe Montana. He didn't. All it took was Mo Lewis to essentially pile drive Drew Bledsoe into the ground, and that's the reason why Tom Brady came into play. If Mo Lewis does not spear Drew Bledsoe, you may not be having it. You may not even talking about Tom Brady. But
Tom Brady will be playing for the Yankees probably.
Yeah, no, he was actually the last. How about this for a fun fact, kids? You know who was the last draft pick for the Montreal Expos?
It was Brady, right?
It was Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
That would be funny if Mo Lewis didn't drill, Bledsoe in the ground. You've never heard of Tom Brady at all. Tom Brady will probably be like, I'm whining. I'm going to go play baseball in Montreal. The Expos will still be in, because I'm wearing Gary Carter's jersey today because Gary Carter passed away 10 years ago tomorrow. Right. Montreal will be still in Montreal. The Washington Nationals will not even be a figment of everybody's imagination. It will be a minor league ballpark for somebody. And then, but it's funny, like you just said, it's like, it's weird that if you see that one, like I look at the same thing you do sometimes, Mike. Like I look at like different things, like what happened, like with the Orioles. If Benitez did not throw that fastball to Roberto Alomar in the '97 playoffs, the Orioles would have gone off to the World Series. They would have played somebody in the Fall Classic. They probably would have won the World Series. Same thing with the Mets. If we didn't, Heidelman did not give up that home run to Molina in the 9th inning, of Game 7 of the 2006 NLCS, we would have gone and played against Detroit. If they didn't, I look at these little things. And my dad goes, "Why you analyze that?" And I was like, "Because you got to see what happened. Because if you take away that from that equation, this is where what would happen."
And go as far too as in the 2000 World Series, even though the Yankees won, the Mets were the better team that year.
Right.
Yeah.
The Mets were the better team. They had in my opinion, they had a much better lineup. Rotation, you can argue with Clemens and Pettit against Mike Hampton and Al Leiter and Rick Reed, so the Mets were the much better overall team. Now, of course, the Yankees did have Mariano Rivera, and Armando Benitez was one of the best closers in the game. He's just sadly he's remembered as someone who blew too many saves, and like the rest of them, they had to all play second fiddle to Mariano.
Yeah, and plus he hit Tito Martinez in the back at Yankee Stadium. He's like, "Come on, bring it!" I'm like, "You don't do that at Yankee Stadium."
No,
are you that crazy?
And if I'm not mistaken, the Mets had leads in both games 1 and 2 at Yankee Stadium. I was at game 4 when Jeter homered on the first pitch of the game at Shea Stadium. In my opinion, if you actually look at the history of the World Series, you can argue it was probably the worst starting pitching matchup in the history of the World Series. The Mets trotted out Bobby Jones, and the Yankees trotted out Denny Nagel. Name me a worse starting pitching matchup at the top of your guys.
Bobby Jones was coming off pitching a one-hitter against the Giants.
Oh, yeah, he was. Yeah. Bobby was ridiculous. Bobby was good, but when you look at things from a historic standpoint, so
it's crazy. Do you have something for Mike real quick before we let him go?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the 49ers because I'm a Cowboys fan, so.
He's still writing about the Prescott and still trying to get the first down. You know?
Look, for me, the Dallas Cowboys, they were the team of the 90s. My thing is, you're not America's team anymore. You're not. And, and the reason why is, and I got to give the guy credit because I don't want to get, sued for creative liberty. Stephen A. Smith from ESPN says it right all the time. You guys are an accident waiting to happen. The Cowboys always find a way to cowboy it up.
I'm not going to disagree with that. When your quarterback tries to run a 40-yard quarterback draw,
goodness, that was such bad.
No in the game and no timeouts. It's like, why?
Right.
But I think the Cowboys will be back. I think the Cowboys, they still have a good roster. They're going to roll with Mike McCarthy. I think, because you look at the rest of the division, the Giants and the Commanders are probably another year or two maybe from getting back into contention consistently.
Mm-hmm.
The Eagles, I'm intrigued to see. It's going to be Jalen Hurts needs to have a big year and needs to take a big step forward in year 2. So, Adam, I would think Bills Mafia though may have a chance to celebrate next year. I think the Bills.
Thank you.
As much as that pains me to say,
I appreciate that.
Hey, Mike, we need to get you on before baseball season starts. We'll have more debates. We should have a debate.
Hey, look, I love talking football. I know we just, the Super Bowl was on. Fun Super Bowl, but obviously you guys want to come on talk baseball because hopefully by that time next month we're talking. We all know minor league baseball is ready to rock and roll, but hopefully Major League Baseball.
Before I let you go, folks, don't forget the Winter Carnival is next Thursday, February 24th. It's up there in Horwood Suites, up there in beautiful Lehigh Valley. So Mike's going to be there with Mickey Mornandini and Tom Green and Milton Thompson. And I don't know, I might be off that day. I might take a road trip if the weather's good.
Well, I was about to say, tickets are still available for anybody who wants to take a trip. So, but if not, hopefully we see you at Coca-Cola Park for an Ironpigs.
Yeah, I want to make a trip up there. It was a nice ride. It was really good.
All 3 of you guys, hope to see you guys at the ballpark this season. So,
hope you too. And folks, don't forget, if you want to get tickets, where did they go? They go to your website?
IronpigsBaseball.com. So we'd love to see you at the Caravan, but also too want to see you starting Tuesday, April 5th for opening day. So, but Chris, Adam, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Have a great night.
Who's welcome. Good night.
All right, see you. All right, folks, that's Adam Michael Ventola, who is the Ironpigs and Philadelphia AAA PR guy, broadcaster, and extraordinaire, and former big fan of the New York Jets. And we could sit there and talk Jet football and the rest of the night. We can do that one night. We should just bring people in who hate teams. Just bring them in. Yeah, how about that?
Okay. Yeah, that's right. Have a debate night.
Yeah,
debate night on Herb FM Radio.
Okay.
Yeah. So, well, at the top of the hour, we're going to be on until 9:30 because we got a couple more guests lined up here. We'll come up here with Steve Trimper, who is the Stetson University baseball coach. Hi, Coach. How you doing?
Hey, guys. Can you hear me? I just want to make sure everything's working here.
Yes, I can hear you really well. How are you doing this evening? And thanks for coming on. And I was down there a couple years ago. Steve and I were down there years ago for a baseball game, and that ballpark is very nice.
Yeah, it actually it is. Melching Field is a great ballpark, great venue. In fact, I just literally walked into my house. We had a night practice tonight. We had our last tune-up scrimmage, and we're fortunate to have a really great community here in DeLand, Florida, Stetson University, and we're actually really excited. We announced and launched our stadium renovation announcement about 3 months ago. So we're actually going to be putting 2 phases of building into our stadium starting this summer. We're going to be spending about $7.5 million this summer. And then the following summer, we're putting about another $8 million into it to really upgrade Melching to be one of the nicest fields in the country, I'm going to say.
Nice. So you're a native New Jerseyan. So, how's life in Florida? It's better than looking at 30 degrees and cold and, and getting ready for something in the springtime.
Yeah, you're right. I did. I grew up in New Jersey, played baseball and football, up in Sussex County, New Jersey at Kittatinny High School. And went to college, played baseball, 2 different places, played at Elon down in North Carolina, and then transferred back to Eastern Connecticut. Had great experiences playing, but I got right into coaching, and my whole entire coaching career was in the Northeast. When I got right done in 1993, I was coaching in Boston at a school called Whitworth Institute of Technology. Then I went over to the University of Vermont. Then I got a chance to be a head coach in 1999, where I went to Manhattan College for 7 years. And then I moved on to Maine for 11 years. So after all that travel and all those indoor practices and trying to figure out how to teach in a hallway or a gymnasium, I finally got an opportunity to go into Stetson, and I didn't pass it up. And I can tell you probably at this point in my career, I'm not going back to the Northeast. I'm a little too soft and Floridian now. So
no, don't go back up here. It's like during the winter time, you don't. It's like like you're dreaming of baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah. So you've been down there pretty for a long time down there. Down there at Stetson University, and you had a great your great second year. You guys made it all the way to the tournament. You won the regional final. That must have been a thrill for you as a coach coming from Maine to a very good school in the Atlantic Sun Conference.
Yeah, when I was at Maine, which is a really good traditional baseball program, if you go back and look at the last 30, 40 years, I mean, John Winkin was a legendary coach there that brought them to 6 World Series. It was a lot different back then when they had just a regional, and you had to beat just teams in your region. You went right to Omaha, of course, and things changed in the late 90s when they started the current format. So, at Maine, we had a couple good regional teams. We won a lot of games there. And then what happened is I traveled so much at Maine. We used to always play Coach Dunn and at Stetson because it was a great place to come into. The weather was good. So I almost got to know the fans a little bit, the trainer, the SID. So when Coach Dunn decided to retire in 2016, they called me and asked me if I'd be interested in the job. And obviously I went through the interview process and really hit it off with the president and our AD, Jeff Altier, who's a big supporter of the baseball program. He played here. He was an assistant coach. He's been the AD now for 26 years. He's the chair for the Division I NCAA selection committee. So he's really active in Division I college baseball. So they really showed me that we have a lot of support in the community and at the school. And so it was a great, chance for me to kind of go to the elite state. Between Texas, California, and Florida, everybody's good. The players are good. The teams, the colleges are good. And then in my second year here, we really had a good core of guys that returned, and we added in a few transfers and some recruits. And it just all kind of clicked. And, we had a great season. Obviously, like 7 of those guys got drafted. Logan Gilbert went in the first round, who's now in the Seattle rotation. Brooks Wilson was our closer and our DH that year. It's an ironic story. Brooks was going to sign his junior year, and I put him up in the Cape in Orleans, and he said, I'd like to maybe come back and not sign in the 26th round. And I said, he wanted me to promise him that I would give him a chance to hit as a senior if he came back. So I was like, I'll make that promise. So we did, and he ended up being the John Olderud Award winner that year. He ended up hitting 312 with the team guys and had 24 saves that year and went in the 6th round. So it really helped him out. And Brooksy's on the 40-man right now, with the Braves. So, it was a really good pitching defensive group, and we learned how to scratch out a few runs that year and, really got hot at the end and had our RPI up to number 4 in the country. And not only did we make the regional, but we were number 1 seed, and we were able to host a regional, which was the dream of DeLand. And when I say DeLand, our field is actually off campus and it's owned by the city of DeLand. And we have a partnership with the city that's remarkable. Most coaches would not like that. For us, it's an awesome partnership. We get the city support. It's in the downtown area where all the restaurants and shops and bars are.
It's beautiful.
Oh, it's a gorgeous area. Yeah. And so having that regional, brought a lot of commerce and a lot of exposure to DeLand. And so when the stadium project came up, it was almost like addicted. They're like, yeah, we're involved. They're helping us fund this thing. And, the city's it got voted through unanimously on the board to help us get this thing going. So it was a really good 2018. And then obviously, 19, we were one step away from a regional. We lost to Liberty in the finals. We wanted to repeat to get back in. And then it seems like the wheels fell off since then because we've been dealing with 2 years of COVID. So hopefully we're having a normal year this year.
Yeah, well, it's fascinating. I was doing some research. Stetson University has some great major leaguers, who came through your program. Steve Haggerty, Bill Haggerty, the guy from the Orioles, and some guy named DeGrom. I think I heard about him. And this guy Kluber. Yeah, look at this guy. We know this guy.
Yeah. I've seen that pitch when I stand in when he throws his bullpens every Friday up here in the wintertime. So
he does. That's cool. What does he look like? Does he look better? Because I know last year he was hurt, and I'm a big Met fan. And since he got hurt, we went from first place to, and then we got a new manager in Buck Showalter. But what does he look like when you see him on Fridays? Does he look like ready to go?
Yeah, Jake's working out. I mean, I think that, he's ready to go to camp and he's anxious. So he's doing his programs that his trainers have him on and ready to go. I know that he's anxious to play, and I wouldn't be able to speak to, is he ready to start today or anything like that. But I know he's actively doing his stuff. He lives in DeLand. He still lives right here. He grew up, was born and raised right around here. He went to Stetson. He was actually, it's a great story. They told it time and time in the New York area, but he was a shortstop here at Stetson, and I was actually coaching against him when I was at Maine. And Coach Dunn used to use him as a closer, bring him in at the end, and they got so banged up that junior year that they started him on as a starter about halfway through, and it's where he really kind of made his mark and got himself drafted as a middle rounds guy. I think it was like a 7th or 8th or 9th rounder, and he's taken off. But it is unique having him and Kluber, and this was kind of a neat year because both of them were in New York.
Yeah.
And, being from New Jersey, I love to recruit New Jersey. And we have, 2 more kids coming in next year from New Jersey. I got 4 or 5. I've had the Neola boys on my team. The Hilton brothers are here. Some really good talent. So I'm always up in New Jersey. And when I first started getting back to New Jersey, my first 2 years, people were like, Stetson, where's that? I think I heard of that. Well, now I go up to all the all-star games in the summertime, and everybody knows Stetson because it's Kluber and DeGrom are getting blown up every day, and I keep getting this little old Stetson University has these 2, Cy Young Award winners in New York.
Yeah, I was thinking about this year. If they were healthy, it would have been funny. They would have pitched against each other, and I think you probably have the best ratings in that Central Florida area because everybody would be like watching Fox, and Fox would be like, "We're going to make this the game of the week every year if they have DeGrom and Corey going at it." But that's interesting. So
it is. Yeah, it's we have a big ballpark. The current Melching Stadium, as you've seen, it's a really big ballpark. We're going to be changing the dynamics a little bit, but we've kind of been known as like a pitching university for all these years. There's been a plethora of guys that have gotten up to AAA. Right now, like I said, Brooksy is on his way there. We certainly have a lot of others that are on their way. That could really be good players for us. Or that were good players for us that are, in the minor league system. So it is a unique little niche that we have. I mean, we obviously want to score a ton of runs too, but I got a great pitching coach. Dave Thurneau has been with me since my first year. He was a national pitching coach of the year in 2018 when we had that really good staff. And we're out there recruiting, up and down the Eastern Seaboard, but we mix it up with the Floridas and the Florida States and Miamis. And, we get a few of the players that are looking for a fit that might be a little bit smaller of a university. We're only 3,300 students. I loved it in the super regionals of the 16 teams. They showed the graphic on ESPN of the size of the schools of Carolina and Oregon State and UCLA. And then I had little Stetson there with 3,300 students. So, we're a good academic private school down here that, has a great baseball setup.
Well, Adam, you got the last question.
Yeah. Now, obviously, you live in Florida and coach at Stetson, and you coach at the University of Maine. So I got to ask, what do you think has the better seafood, New England or Florida?
That's a great question. That's an awesome question, and I got a great way of answering that. So now I've always found an outlet. I think we go so hard as coaches. You're going to burn out if you work this hard. Like we really go at 110% all the time. When I was in Maine, I really got into whitetail hunting and going out for walks and going to the beautiful woods, which is gorgeous up there.
Yeah.
Obviously, the coast isn't that far, and I had a bunch of players that their parents were lobstermen on my team over the years I coached there. Then I get to Florida, and there's no hunting. You can't even go in the woods here. There's too many snakes and alligators. There's no walking. Go to the beach. That's it. So I got into offshore fishing. That's my new hobby. So I will tell you, without a doubt, the fish is way better in Florida when you got grouper and mahi and cobia and snook, and I can go on and on and on of what we catch out here, all the tuna. But the shellfish, it's New England.
Thank you.
It is New England.
Thank you.
That's the best way to answer that question.
Thank you. Thank you, Coach.
All right, cool. Well, Coach, I'll let you go. Good luck this weekend against Delaware. I know Delaware's manager is going to retire this year as well. And so it's he's been there for a lot of years. And
Terms a great guy. We're looking forward. He's a great coach. He was an assistant at Delaware when I was the assistant at Vermont back in 93, 94, 95, when Coach Hanna was still the coach.
Wow.
We go back a long ways. Notre Dame is coming in for this tournament. They're a top 10 preseason ranking. They're going to be very well coached. And Manhattan College, obviously, is the former school I coached. Mike Cole, their head coach, he was actually one of my assistants at Maine. He was one of the last players I recruited when I was at the University of Vermont, and I coached him for 1 year. So kind of like a little bit of a homecoming of sorts that I have these teams coming down that I know a lot about, and they're all really good baseball teams. So we're looking to have a good kickoff weekend here in DeLand, Florida.
All right, cool. I hope the weather's great, and I hope to talk to you down the road. And if you see Jacob, tell him relax. The season's going to start soon. Don't blow your arm out because the Mets need him. With him and Mad Max, that's going to be a 1-2 punch.
Yeah, he'll be fine. He's a good, hard-working person, and he's actually a better person off the field too. He's a great representation of the Mets and obviously our university. So, guys, I really want to thank you for having me on. This has been awesome. Anytime I can ever get on, I'm more than happy to help you guys out.
Yeah, we'll get you on down the road. We'll see how you guys are doing. And we do the CAA stuff, but you never know. You might play a CAA school or Maryland. You never know.
Yep, exactly right. So appreciate you guys having me on.
All right, Coach. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks. Have a good night.
See you. That's Coach Steve Trimper. Trimper, who is the head coach at Stetson University. You heard it there first, folks, about Jacob DeGrom. He's ready to go. You only hear it here first because we bring it to you first here.
Right.
So that's a good thing here. So we'll talk about that a little bit later at the end of the show because I have a beef about that. Let's bring in this gentleman. We know what we're talking about. This gentleman coming up who actually I reached out to him because 10 years from tomorrow, former New York Met and Expo great, who I'm wearing his Expo jersey, Gary Carter, passed away sadly with some cancer. And he was his backup in 1986 and through 89. So we'll show him Barry Lyons with that fly ball that he hit a home run to right field against the Expos. So we need to ask him if that was a slider or a fastball. Yeah, he probably would. Let us know. So let's bring in Barry. So, hi Barry, how are you doing?
I'm great. Good to be with you guys.
Thanks for coming on. I've got to ask you, was that a slider that you hit that one out, or was it the guy just completely missed the target and you just like, hey, I'm going to make you pay?
Well, I don't know for sure. That was Bryn Smith, who was an outstanding pitcher for the Expos. And if I'm not mistaken, that was my second major league home run. So I haven't seen that video. I've seen some videos of a few of my other home runs. I didn't have that many, but that's the first time I've seen a video of that one in quite a long time. So I'm not certain of the pitch, but that was Bryn Smith at Shea Stadium in New York.
That's cool. Well, thanks for coming on tonight. The reason I got you on because I know you were teammates of the late Gary Carter, who passed away 10 years ago tomorrow, of brain cancer. When did you find out when he had, when you sadly, where were you on 10 years ago, tomorrow when you heard the news?
Well, that's quite an interesting question. I was actually in the Home of Grace Christian Addiction Recovery Program in Mississippi. I was about 3 weeks into the program. I'm 10 years born again Christian. I battled addiction for many years, beginning during my playing career, and then ultimately ending when I gave my life to Christ 10 years ago. And I was in the program, and my mentor, my counselor, came to me and showed me on the website or on the internet that he passed away. And certainly I was aware of Gary's dealing with glioblastoma, the brain cancer that ended up taking his life. And he was diagnosed, I think, the prior spring, and it went pretty quick. But Gary was a great player, a great family man, a great Christian, a Hall of Famer. Unfortunately for me, he was a roadblock for me in my career, but a great guy that left us way too early, 57 years old. That was pretty sad that he left this earth so young, but I still stay in touch with his wife, or his widow, Sandy, who lives in Palm Beach area, and actually going to see her this weekend. I'm going down to visit my daughter and my granddaughters. So I was just talking to my wife about getting in touch with Sandy while we're there this time.
That's cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I had a chance to meet him twice. I grew up, idolizing Gary Carter as a kid growing up in New York, and my father, showed me how to hit like Gary Carter. Like my dad, we used to be in the backyard, and I know about you playing with the Mets and all that stuff, and I've seen like Gary Carter was that cool teammate. No matter if you never saw him like down and out. You never saw him angry. You never saw him. He always just, they called him TV Gary. He's always upbeat. He didn't show. If he went 0 for 4, he felt like he helped the team in some way.
Well, he was, he had a peace about him from his faith, and a lot of people misunderstood why he smiled all the time, how he could be so jovial, but he loved playing the game. He loved the fans. He loved the spotlight, and I'm not saying that to be negative. He just loved to be in the middle of it, and wanted to be the guy that came through in the big situations. And Gary was a tremendous player and a clutch player, and certainly had some great years. But he was the guy in 1986 that really solidified the team. And although it cost me playing time, it was really for the betterment of the team. And he and Keith Hernandez were the two veteran leaders that, along with Ray Knight, that really inspired the team and really were the captains and the veteran players on the field that helped the young guys and was the difference in winning a World Series.
I have to ask you a question. We heard the news today that came out about Matt Harvey, with the situation. He had to testify about the stuff out in LA, and with the player, his teammate passing away and all that stuff. How difficult is it to play in New York with that, with that spotlight around you, knowing that, everything you do is under a scope, no matter what you do. If you go to the supermarket and you bought the wrong glass of milk, they'll write the wrong, the wrong thing. How did you handle that situation? How did you go approach, New York, and, hey, you played for the Mets, you're World Series champ, and everybody thinks you're God.
Well, it was certainly a challenging time, and we've all read about Darryl and Doc and Dykstra, and I was in similar boats as them, but not the star player or star caliber player that they were by any means. Mm-hmm. But it was a wild time in New York when we were there in the mid and late 80s. It was a different time, certainly, with today you couldn't get away with any of that because of cell phones and camera phones and just the media attention on everyone. There's so much money in it. You're scrutinized more so now than ever. But Matt Harvey, there were rumors and certainly whispers and even just, flat out just speaking the truth that they knew he was, experimenting or using drugs and in the party scene, and it affected him just like it affected Daryl, it affected Dwight, it affected myself, it affected Lenny. There was a whole host of guys, not only just on our team, but in the league and in other sporting leagues and the entertainment industry. Being in New York today, or in the era that I was there, or in eras gone by with the Mickey Mantle stories and Babe Ruth stories dating way back to the early days. I mean, the nightlife, the party, the women, the booze, the clubs, the road, being on the road. There were so many distractions, so many opportunities to get caught up into that lifestyle, and so many of us did. Gary was one of the minority, if you will, that didn't get caught up in that, but there were plenty others that were followed along the same path that Gary did. But certainly for our team, he and Mookie Wilson were probably the two straight and narrow guys, the family guys that didn't go out on the road, but they didn't judge us, they didn't criticize us, they didn't put us down. They were great teammates and great role models. But fortunately for guys like my friend Daryl Strawberry, who I stay in touch quite a bit with these days, Daryl is preaching the gospel, traveling all over the country, helping people, sharing his testimony. And I'm doing similar things on a much smaller scale and not quite the marquee name by any stretch of the imagination that Daryl Strawberry is, but nonetheless, we're both sharing our testimonies and warning people and cautioning people to avoid those pitfalls and those traps that are out there. And certainly today, the players, there's too much at risk, too much at stake. I'm sure there's still guys that are out there doing that type of thing and hanging out at night and doing things such as Matt was doing. But it's not a surprise to me to hear Matt admit that. I mean, it's a good thing that he did admit it. And if he's still using, hopefully he'll seek help and we'll be able to overcome that. But he's kind of caught in between a rock and a hard place right now. And, the best thing you can do is admit your guilt, to be truthful, and then to seek help if you need help. But I'm not surprised at what came out today.
Adam, you have a question for Barry?
You played on the World Series team of 1986 against Boston Red Sox. So I got to ask, what was it like to play with people like Daryl Strawberry and Mookie Wilson and all those legendary New York Mets players?
Well, we had Ray Knight, we had Lenny Dykstra in center field, along with Mookie, Daryl Strawberry, Keith Hernandez, Gary Carter, Wally Backman, Ron Darling, of course, Dwight Gooden, Sid Fernandez. We had a great team. The talent was off the charts. I mean, during the mid and late 80s, the New York Mets were the toast of not only New York, but all over baseball. Everywhere we went, we drew huge crowds, as the Mets still do. They have a great following and a great fan base. And certainly I love the Mets fans. They've been very loyal to me, very good to me, and to all of us that were blessed to wear that Mets uniform. The New York Mets fans are awesome. And I have great memories and great friends that I met during my time in New York. But playing with those guys was amazing. At times I wished I could get traded so that I would get more playing time and have an opportunity to be the starting catcher. But, being a member of the New York Mets, being in New York during that time, being a part of this Mets organization during those years, it was greatest era of Mets baseball history, 1984 to 1990. I don't think there's any 6 or 7 year period in the history of the New York Mets that could match up to what we had during that run. And to be a part of that was something I always cherish.
That's cool. Barry, what are you doing today to keep? I know you said you're doing some same stuff as Daryl Strawberry preaching the word. What are you doing besides? Are you still in baseball? I know the last time I talked to you, you were with.
I am. I'm currently at my alma mater's high school game. I'm out in my car. Today was opening day in high school baseball here in the South Mississippi, and my alma mater is playing another top program down here, and 2 top pitchers are out there. So I've been dying for baseball. I'm so glad football's over. I'm hoping that the major league, lockout will end soon. I believe it will, but unfortunately, it's not good. But I was very instrumental in helping bring minor league baseball to Biloxi, Mississippi, my hometown, and we have the Biloxi Shuckers. It's a AA franchise for the Milwaukee Brewers. I was a key man in helping make this happen, and I'm an ambassador for the ball club. I do some broadcasting. I do some interviews. I do some instructional videos. I interview the players. I'm very involved in the game day operation at home and welcoming and greeting fans and just being an ambassador for baseball, an ambassador for the Biloxi Shuckers, and an ambassador for my home team, and also, more importantly, an ambassador for God. And I just love baseball, obviously, and baseball is a tremendous platform for me to share my testimony, to encourage and help others and inspire others to, dream big. I had a dream as a kid to be a big league ball player. As an adult, coming towards the end of my career, I had a dream about bringing minor league baseball to Biloxi. So God is great, and if you believe in something, you dream something, you want to do something, and you put the time in and you work your butt off and you stay focused and dedicated to it, great things can happen. And I want to send that message and share that message everywhere I can.
That's cool. Well, Barry, thank you so much for coming on tonight. God bless you. Be safe, be healthy, and thanks for coming on. And keep up the good word. And hopefully, we'll help these kids who are can't handle the spotlight. Maybe they could come to you and help you out.
Well, thank you guys for having me on, and thank you for honoring Gary Carter and his memory. He deserves it, and certainly it was an honor to be his friend. Unfortunately, he was a roadblock for me in my career, but God has us in certain situations for a purpose. I didn't understand it then, but now knowing who Gary truly was and what he represented and who he represented, our mighty God, and his faith was so strong, and the fact that he left us early, it's sad in a lot of ways, but we know where he is, and we'll see him again one day.
Hey, he's hitting that big home run in the sky. That's what my mom says all the time. He's still hitting that big home run in the sky. Yeah. So
thanks you guys.
Barry. Have a great night.
Yes, sir.
All right, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks, Barry.
Barry Lyons, former New York Met teammate of Gary Carter, passed away 10 years ago tomorrow. So it was nice to have him on. And I know it's tough for him to talk about it because he was, Carter was, didn't get him an opportunity to play, when you have a superstar like him. But, you learn a lot from Gary Carter, and, he learned a lot about his faith. And, and it's great to bring it up today, talking about that Matt Harvey situation that really ties into the whole situation. That, it's hard. I'm sorry, it's hard to live in New York or anywhere as if you're a superstar. And that kid came right out of college, 7th pick in the draft by the Mets, and he was like, he was touted as the next Dwight Gooden. That is tough. Anybody coming up from college baseball and being tagged as the next Tom Seaver or the next Dwight Gooden or the next Gary Carter, that's a lot of pressure on somebody. And like the Orioles have a #1 draft pick in Adley Rutschman. I hope that doesn't get to his head. Like everybody's talking about, he's the next Buster Posey. That's great, but he's not Buster Posey. He's himself. And if he looks like Buster Posey, that's great. But if he doesn't, like Matt Wieters, who went from different places, and he was tagged as the next Johnny Bench, and and that kind of didn't really help real well. So anyway,
I mean, I can remember when. I mean, to me, I can remember when Adley Rutschman was a star at Oregon State in Corvallis, and I mean everybody wanted him. I mean, remember when Matt Wieters was at Georgia Tech, and he was a star there. And actually, I have a cousin who actually was really good friends with Tom Seaver. So I was talking about Gary Carter. It's like, man, I remember those days. All those great New York Mets baseball teams.
Right, exactly.
Growing up, but, man.
Well, we're going to wrap up the show. We're over a time limit. Thanks for coming on, folks. Thanks for watching us tonight. Thanks for enjoying our coverage of we did to the Super Bowl. Thanks for everybody who tuned in to watch. Also, I was going to say something, but we're going to keep that for another time because it's not great to go down to somebody's level. And, because we know, people who we know there's a lot of people who are trustworthy, and hopefully someday some people can be trustworthy. That's what I'm talking about. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back on next Tuesday night at February 22nd at 7:30. We'll get ready for March Madness because basketball is going to start these tournaments soon. We're going to lead with you tonight with a classic Gary Carter. He hit his 300th home run at Wrigley Field. So here's the voice of Harry Carey saying his home run, and we're going to say goodnight.
Good night.
8 homers, 36 RBIs. There's a drive way back. It might be the 300th home run of his career. Gary Carter hit a 2-2 pitch, and he has waited since May the 16th, and he just got it. Sam Perluzzo, the third base coach, shaking his hand. Everybody is happy for Gary Carter, except the Cubs. And Johnson now talking to him, patting him on the back. He's got a big smile on his head, on his face. And he now enters the dugout, and he is a picture.